Okay, I'd like to just say a few words about the division of labor and the conflict perspective. As we know, the conflict perspective is the type of analysis that we do based on Marxian ideas that there are different classes, and the different classes will actually work in conflict with each other, where the ruling classes use whatever resources they have in order to keep the working classes in their place in order to preserve their own status. Now, with the division of labor, obviously, there's a interest for the ruling classes, the people with the wealth, the people who control the means of production, to hold on to those means of production. This is particularly true on an international scale. It's certainly true it can be true on a national scale or on a individual scale, but it's most obvious on an international scale where this is possible, because a nation wants to keep its status. Just recently we had the president talking in the State of the Union about how we must outproduce and basically outsmart everybody else to keep our status as the high producing nation. Doesn't seem anything wrong with that. In that perspective, of course, we have a tradition. One of the most egregious examples of this, I don't think this is necessarily a good example, but it shows the process because it was such a extreme example, was in the in the early parts of the late parts of the 19th century, the early parts of this century. There was a king of Belgium who wanted to help his country become rich, but this country did not, by colonizing Africa, but the Belgian parliament wouldn't let him, so he decided he'll make himself personally rich, and he did all sorts of things in order to gain control of the central part of Africa called the Congo, and he gained legal control of over 450 different types of ethnicities, and in order to bring out the raw materials and from that area, and he used the indigenous peoples there as slave labor, a fantastic amount of atrocities in order to pull out all of the possible raw materials for the cheapest possible price, including there's an estimate of about 10 million people were killed in order for him to gain personal wealth, actually. And of course, this is not the way it is. That was not the norm to that degree, but in a lesser degree, we do pay people a lot less in order to make our own society keep going the way we want it to go. And the people who are mining diamonds in South Africa or other places are not the people who are buying diamonds, and they don't make anywhere near as much money as the diamonds are worth on the free market. So we see that there is some sort of conflict in order to keep certain nations and certain societies and certain cultures in their position, and by corollary, natural consequence or conflict, there are other societies which are kept on a lower level. This would be analysis of what's going on between nations from the conflict perspective.